Like, how often are you writing these days? Because you started picking that up in the last few years. Has that become a new thing for you? Has that always been there?
It's become, no, it's the constant battle of my life, which is how am I writing and when am I writing?
Mm.
I feel very fortunate in that both my parents were writers and are writers. They're continuously writing, and they just put it into me at a very young age. Um, that they were like, okay, you want to be an actor, that's great. But will have no control over when and most likely what you get to work on. The way you can have control is if you are writing and is if you are directing or you are producing, you know what I mean? That you have a hand in it from its inception. And so I really, um, the first script I wrote was the first script I wrote was from frustration that I had booked a job and I had a month until then. And it was this weird thing where I was like, I couldn't go out and get like a coffee bar job because I couldn't be like, you only have me for 4 weeks. But I needed something to do with my time. And so I started writing and I started pouring myself into that, while I was preparing for this other job. And then similarly, when I was on the set of Pretty Little Liars, I was I realized that I was like trying to I don't know, stick my this is a weird metaphor, like stick my hands in other people's pies or whatever it is. And they were like, can you just like act? That's what we hired you to do. And I was like, fine. And I like went over to my chair in between takes and I wrote my first short script. And it was such a wonderful thing because I was like, oh, right, that's where I get to exercise like whatever this other thing is that doesn't need to have a place here. This is my job that needs me in this way. And so in that same vein, when I became pregnant, I was so grateful because, they were like, well, there's only so many roles you can play with that big thing in your belly. So I was like, okay, fine, then I'm going to go write and I'm going to go direct. And it was a wonderful way to like have a creative outlet. So it's been kind of the same thing over this past year with my invisible boyfriend. Well, I've been waiting for him to become real and materialize and being a mom that like I get to exercise that creative part of me where I get to, still story tell in my little so funny. I want to like in this because I'm
Right.
looking at my computer right now. So I feel very lucky in that I have a lot of writing projects that I'm continuously returning to that keep me creatively fulfilled.